How much should you be spending on advertising without wasting it? John Wanamaker was a marketing pioneer back in the day who said, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. So here's the great thing with YouTube ads, that you know exactly if the ad spend is working or if it's not working, because we have tracking set up. We have all these great tools in place where we know exactly how well it's performing. But a big question we have is, well, how much should we allocate to the ad spend? So in this video, I want to share with you how to come up with that budget so that you're not wasting spend, and what are some of the principles and guidelines around that. Now, look, I know there's a lot of different companies and advertisers out there, and some are spending $5,000 a month on ads, and others are spending millions of dollars a month on ads. And some focuses are different, right? Some people want to get like reach and brand awareness, and others need to be more direct. They need to see some type of return or some type of actions coming from, or performance coming from these ad campaigns. So in order to be helpful to the small businesses, I'm going to be focusing this video on those companies, those people who have a budget of maybe $10K a month to $200,000 a month, which I know that's still a pretty wide gap, but it's actually the principles that apply to whether you're spending $10K versus $200K. I think the principles are very similar. Obviously, you'll have different goals, but this video is designed for those people in that range. The first step when you're deciding your budget is you need to decide which actions people will take that will actually grow your business. What are those conversion actions that need to happen in order for your business to grow? Because that's what you're going to be tracking to decide whether your ads are working or not. I remember one time we had a client where they said, hey, we want to work with you guys. And we said, great. We got access to their Google Ads account. They were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads, and they had zero conversion tracking. They didn't know, they weren't tracking anything. They were just spending money and hoping people purchased. People were buying their products, but they just didn't know where they were coming from, which ad they saw. They didn't have any data to decide. So what we did is we said, okay, great. What is the goal of, how does your business grow? And they said, well, we want them to purchase our product. Okay, and they're an e-commerce product, right? So before they purchase the product, they go through the checkout process. So there we decide, okay, those are the two conversion actions that we need to be tracking. We need to check out how many people initiate the checkout process, and two, how many times do people actually purchase the product. So those were the two ones that we decided. And once we implemented that conversion tracking, those conversion actions, we then could see the performance of the ads. We now had clarity around how it's performing, right? So maybe it's not a purchase for you. Maybe you want to track how many leads or how many opt-ins people come in, or how many webinar registrations people schedule with you, and how many applications get failed out, or how many booked calls happen. But again, decide what are those action items that need to happen for your business to grow, and reverse engineer that, because based off that, that's what your ad spend will be based off of. All right, principle number 2 is build your advertising budget around those conversions that are actually going to grow your business. I had another call with a potential client where we were walking through, and she's like, yeah, we want to have a really cool video campaign. I said, great. What's the point? What's the goal? What do you want to have happen with these video campaigns? And she's like, oh, well, we want to have awareness. And I was like, okay, great. Well, once somebody becomes aware of your brand, then what's the next step? And she's like, oh, well, we really want them to go to this form and fill out this form. I said, okay, great. That's the goal. Now we can work around that. But what I see a lot of people do is hey, let's just spend money and see what happens, but they don't have any way of tying that ad spend to a specific KPI or a specific action. So going back to that e-commerce client I was telling you about earlier, where we finally got the tracking set up, and we said, okay, let's reverse engineer this. How much is a customer worth to you? And he's like, oh, a customer's worth $300. Okay, great. That's how much an average order value is for you, $300. And then we said, okay, how much are you willing to spend to acquire that customer? And he's like, oh, well, if we could spend $100 to get a customer, that would be awesome. He's like, if we could spend $100 to get a customer that's worth $300 to us, we would spend as much money as we can. So, okay, great. Now we have these KPIs, we have these action items that we can use to make decisions based off which ads and which audiences are performing best. So again, that only happens if you can reverse engineer that. So once you have your those conversion actions created, then you want to put a dollar amount to how much you're willing to spend to get those conversion actions. In this specific example, he's like, I'll spend $100 to get a customer, no problem. So once we knew what those conversion actions were, which in this case was $100, when we set the budget, we said, let's set the daily budget and let's do a 5 to 10x daily budget. So in this case, we're going to be spending between $500 a day to $1,000 a day. And then we know, okay, we're going to be spending $500 to $1,000 a day. We should be seeing 5 to 10 customers come in each day. And so that way we built the ad spend off those action items, and we knew exactly what we were looking for each day, each week, each month when we were running the ads. A lot of times people just say, oh yeah, let's just spend this money, and they don't have any way of tying it down. So at least this way, you know what to do. And maybe you're not going to be spending $1,000 a day. Maybe you say, I want to get leads. So if you say, I am willing to spend $10 to get a lead, well, if you 5x or 10x that target cost per acquisition cost or that target cost per conversion cost, you could say, great, I'm going to be spending between $50 to $100 a day. And that way, you know, each day, this is what that should be coming in at each day. So now you just at least intentionally know, hey, I have some ideas if these campaigns are working or not. The final principle I want to share with you when it comes to determining your ad spend budget is shoot bullets before cannonballs, meaning start small and test, and then increase and scale as you know that it's working. So a lot of times people spend all this time creating all these, like this video, and they go all in on it, and they just spend it all at once, and they kind of just waste their ad spend budget all at once, and they don't learn anything from it. They don't know which ads perform the best. They don't know which audiences worked out well. So again, my recommendation here is the bullets. So instead of having one big campaign with one video and going all in on it and spending all your budget on that, create like 10 different campaigns. So instead of spending $1,000 a day on one campaign, maybe you're spending $100 a day on 10 campaigns. And each campaign, you're testing different videos, you're testing different audiences. And what this does is now you can segment your data better, and you can see, hey, look, this video got a 2% click-through rate, and this one only got a 0.6. Well, this video is always performing better. Let's put more budget to that one. Or, hey, this video got us a cost per customer for $100, but this one got us a cost per customer for $20. Okay, great. Why would you spend more money on the more expensive ad when you could be spending more money on the one that's getting the lower cost per acquisition, right? You only know that if you're shooting bullets before cannonballs. And chances are, if you launch 10 campaigns, guess what? 2 of them are going to work. So when you start small and you can test these bullets, then you can find the winner. You can find the winning creative. You can find the winning headline. You can find the winning call to action or the winning audience. And then you go all in, then you bring the cannonball in and you go, okay, boom, let's go all in on these best performing ads. And that's when you can really scale up. So that's how you do it. Again, you want to find those conversion actions that are going to grow your business. You want to build your budget around those conversion actions. And then you want to test those bullets before cannonballs to really get the confidence and the evidence that you need before you start scaling your ad spend up. So I want to thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please drop a comment below, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.